What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today our goal is to get into the mining systems, the new ones that they've implemented as of 3.3 as of yesterday. If you've done mining in Elite Dangerous in the past, it used to be a very simple system, a boring system, where you would put a prospecting limpet on an asteroid, find out what was inside, shoot it with a laser beam, and let a collector limpet do all the work for you, and you move on to the next one. And that was just a boring, simple system. With the most recent 3.3 Chapter 4 update, they have added in a much better system, makes it much more intuitive and much more engaging. The first thing we need to do is actually go over all of the new tools and hardware they've added into the game. Right now we're in an ASP Explorer. I shipped this bad boy over here. We're over on Wilson Orbital over in Paris. Just a good system. And we're gonna actually go into the outfitting and turn this bad boy into a miner with all of the new tools and everything that you'll need. Back in the day, all you needed on your hard points were just these simple mining lasers, okay? Mining laser, pew pew. Now they've added in a bunch of new things. They've added in the abrasion blaster, the seismic charge launcher, and the subsurface displacement missile. If you enjoyed mining in the old ways, you can still equip this mining laser and just do the same system. They still allow you to just prospect and laser it and get your resources that way. However, with the new system, they've introduced a few new hard points, and all of them are applicable in different situations. First, we have the abrasion blaster. All it does is blast off some surface deposits on asteroids when you find them. We'll get more into that later. Then you have the seismic charge launcher. This is it's my favorite part of all of this. And actually, it's a warhead designed to break apart certain asteroids, allowing recovery of deep core deposits. I'm gonna do my best to find one for you and have some fun with it. And last but not least, we have the subsurface displacement missile. Each of these are used in different types of materials inside the asteroid. Some are on the surface, some you need to drill in with this bad boy, and some you need to blow the entire asteroid apart. So I've taken some time and experimented with these tools. I was using my Python, but we got into a smaller ship that's much more accessible, the ASP Explorer. It's got a lot of hard points, and we're going to be able to have a little bit of fun with this. We're not going to be using any mining lasers. We're done with the old ways. We're all into the new ways, okay? The only size 2 things you'll need is actually the subsurface displacement missile, and you don't need the size 2. We're just gonna store the old one here. We're gonna modify all this later. This is my old ship from back in the day. We're going to first put on the subsurface displacement missile, and we need a seismic charge launcher. There's one that has the options for the turret and for multi-crew, but we're not gonna be doing that today. So we have our subsurface displacement missile, we have our seismic charge launcher, and then we need one of these hard points. Let's do one of these side ones. We're gonna put on the abrasion blaster. And this will give us all of the hard points that we're going to need for all of this. Now they've added in, with the exploration update, they've added in a bunch of utility things. And here's what they look like. They're all yellow and kind of look industrial. It's kind of cool. We're gonna keep 3 burst lasers just because we have to potentially defend ourselves, because as you're mining, potentially there will be some pirates that come along, and you kind of have to be able to defend yourself just a little bit. Now, something that's very important to remember is that the utility mounts. There's a utility mount that you need. It's called the Pulse Wave Analyzer. This is what's going to really be the kicker, and all these do is just the different versions change the distance at which it scans. I'm going to go for the max because I happen to have the funds. If you don't have the funds, it's not a problem. I'll show you more of what this is, what all of these things do. I'm just kind of showing you what the loadout kind of should look like. The optional internals is where it gets a little bit interesting. In case you didn't know, they did away with the advanced discovery scanner. I'm not going to be going into all the things that they've replaced it with, other than just this one that makes it makes mining so much easier, and it gives you direction. This is called the Detailed Surface Scanner. This is used mostly in exploration. However, it will show you locations of where there's more mineral deposits that you could potentially be looking for. Because we're staying in the same system, I'm going to store my fuel scoop, and I'm actually going to replace it with some cargo racks. You need to be able to, have some storage to be able to hold all of the limpets you're going to be purchasing to use, and all of the materials you'll be gathering. We do not need a size 5 shield generator. I believe in this ship you need at least a size 3. So we're going to actually store that real quick. The things you're going to need to make your life easy, and these technically aren't necessary. The Prospector Limpet Controller is necessary, but technically you don't need the Collector Limpet Controller. But I always like to have them because it makes things just way easier. So let's get some size 3 Limpet Controllers. Okay, let's get a Prospector Limpet Controller. We'll get the biggest and baddest one. Allows you to have 2, increases the range, all that stuff. Let's get ourselves the Collector Limpet Controller. And then let's actually get a refinery. I believe a size 4 is the largest refinery. I could go for a size 3, but I want to get the size 4 because we don't know what kind of nonsense we're going to get ourselves into. So I do want some kind of shield. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this last size 3 cargo rack, and we're actually going to put a shield generator on there. Just because I tend to be a ninny, and and you'll see, we're going to bump into some asteroids, and I want to be able to protect the ship just in case. We are going to go ahead and grab the Bi-Weave shield generator, mostly just because I don't feel like spending a bunch of money on a brand new one, but we want something that can recharge quickly because we're going to be bumping quite a bit into these asteroids. So just a recap of what we have. We've got the subsurface displacement missile, we've got a seismic charge launcher, abrasion laser, and then a couple extra lasers just in case we need to defend ourselves. Our core internals are just whatever they need to be. You might need to upgrade a power plant or a power distributor a little bit just to make sure you have enough power for all your stuff. And for our optional internals, we've got the large cargo rack, the size 4A refinery, Prospector Limpet Controller, a Collector Limpet Controller, a shield generator, another cargo rack, and then the detailed surface scanner. And then on our utility mounts, we have the pulse wave analyzer. Those are the items that you're going to need to make the most out of your mining experience with the new update. This may be a little bit of overkill, but this is how I have my fire group set up. I have each thing on its own fire group, and I have the pulse wave analyzer attached to every single fire group on my trigger number 2. Reason being, you're going to use every single one of these, and you're going to be pulsing all the time. Not only is it a cool effect to see, but it allows it to be on at all times to be able to scan and see exactly where you're going. And of course, don't forget to add the detailed surface scanner to your fire groups. Don't be like me and forget to buy your limpets and your ammo for all of your new mining equipment. On my way out, I remembered that I forgot to buy them, so let's quickly do that. And this is going to be your different missiles for your seismic launcher and whatnot. Now, if you've never bought limpets before, you have to go into advanced maintenance, and you have to go to restock, and you actually have to go to limpet control. We're going to grab 25. It might be overkill. They're pretty cheap, so if I have to dump them, that's totally fine. So now that we have some limpets, we can actually check our inventory here. So we have some metal in here left over from something else, it appears. However, our inventory shows we have a little bit of metals, and we got 25 limpets. So this is actually our refinery. We're going to see this in, it's empty, but we're going to show you how this works here in just a minute. We are right here in Wilson Orbital. Our goal is actually to go over here to Paris 5, because if you go to the information, it shows that there are 2 rings. One is a metal-rich ring, the inner ring is a metal rich, and then the outer ring is actually an icy ring. I want to show you something in both of those types of rings, so that's why we're going here. While we're traveling over there, I want to show you just one thing. There are 2 different cockpit modes now. One, I believe they refer to it as actually cockpit mode, and the other one is called analysis mode. If you go with the default key bindings on keyboard, it's M. We're now in analysis mode. What it does is it actually changes our HUD a little bit. See, in combat mode, it shows, you know, the orange, what we're used to, is the classic cockpit HUD. But if you push it, it turns to this. This allows you to do your exploration stuff. And what we're going to be doing is you have to be in this mode to do any mining and to do any scanning. So with the surface scanner, we are too far away. So we actually have to get closer to show you how the surface scanner works. And the surface scanner, again, is going to show you detailed information about what's not only the planet, but you can actually hit the rings with it, and it will show you hotspots on the rings for specific materials. So it looks like it tells you to slow down just under 2 LSs. Okay, so once you have selected the surface scanner, and you have to be I believe you have to be in Super Cruise to use it. I could be wrong. Forgive me if I am. But once you have it selected, you go into this mode here, and you're actually able to shoot probes. So we're going to shoot a probe at the planet just so you can see it. And you can actually, and once it hits, it'll give you details about the planet and the ring that it's on. See these yellow dots on there? Because I've actually already scanned this planet before to double check and make sure it worked, I believe it didn't do it. However, as you see, let's get out of this mode here. Once you go out, what you've seen, what you've scanned is still there. And you see these little orange spots? Okay, those are now hot spots. Okay, I'm not going to go over what each of these are. Serendibite or road plume sites. I don't even know how to say that. But basically, it gives you these hot spots all over. We're going to go just to the closest one here. Actually, you know what? We're going to go to Paynite. Hotspot. It gives you a new location to drop onto the ring, so you're not going onto a random spot on the ring. You're actually going to a specific location to the ring. It's a hotspot for materials, and it's not an extraction zone. So anyone who knows and who's played and gone to extraction zones usually goes to those zones for bounty hunting and other such nonsense. So this scanner helps you locate higher density resources that you are looking for and to potentially make your mining much more lucrative and much more worth your time. Back in the day, mining was not worth your time just because it wasn't very lucrative, at least in the ways that I experienced it. I only did it just a little bit. And the drop in here, you just kind of have to slow down, get close to it, and it'll eventually do it. If you're going too fast, you'll get too close and it will actually hurt your ship. But we're actually here at the Paynite hotspot. So we'll get a little bit closer here. Let's actually get. This is my second favorite part of all this nonsense. That pulse wave. It's hot, right? Okay. What's gonna happen is when you scan, you see this? You're gonna get bright yellow objects. Or some of the asteroids are gonna glow bright yellow. Let's go to this real small guy right here. Let's turn our flashlight on, because we're gonna be looking close. The scanner, of course, helps you stay, you know, aware of where things are. And actually, if it's dark, you can still see where you're going. You can see where the asteroids are, so you don't crash into them. Okay, so I have my pulse wave going to keep me straight. I always crash into these things. Now we need to hit this, just to make sure this is the right one. Bam. We're going to hit this bad boy with our Prospector Limpet. Scoot back a little bit. We're going to select that Limpet drone. This thing is chock full of so many goodies. Okay, so you're seeing a bunch of different icons on here. You're seeing, in the bottom left, you're seeing all the original stuff that was in the old stuff. You have the minerals remaining, you have what minerals are in there, and the material content, high, medium, low. So once you have scanned an asteroid, every time you do a pulse wave, it will show you all the different bits that are inside of it. You see that this big clump, that is a surface deposit. It tells you what it is. It is a silver deposit, which is lucrative. And then you have these ones that are kind of balls that are within it. That is a subsurface deposit. This asteroid's going to be really good because it shows you 2 of the 3 types of mining that we can do. Once you select, we're going to start with the surface deposit. Surface deposit, of course, is on top. These asteroids are rotating, so forgive me as I drive this bad boy around. What you need is the abrasion blaster. What this does is, once you select it, that's it. It just blasts it right off. Sorry, I got a little close to the asteroid there. I got excited. All you do is you can pick it up, or you do your collector limpets. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually switch over to a collector limpet. And that collector limpet's going to go ahead and grab it. We're going to open up our cargo scoop, and it's just going to put it right in while we're doing the rest of this, okay? Let's grab the other surface deposit. There should be one more. Lepidolite's on the bottom here. Sometimes I found it's easier just to kind of like wait for the asteroid to kind of rotate around. So if you position yourself in a in a good spot, it can just rotate right over. Let's actually get the abrasion blaster equipped. There we go. Okay, now this is a little bit more tricky. Samarium. It's a subsurface deposit. What we need is the dispersion missile launcher. What this does, it has a drill. Basically, it's a missile with a drill tip on the end of it. And what you need to do is you actually need to shoot, hold the trigger, and then let go at the right time. Let me just shoot one, and let me give you an example. Okay, I'm gonna do my best to make this. You have to line it up. See when it, like the other lines show up? That means it's lined up. So you shoot it, and you hold it. On the left side, it's gonna show this little graph here. When it hits the blue is when you let go. It blows up, it shoots it out, and there's your chunk right there. Let's do the Samarium one, and you'll see it again here. Hold it. Let go. Okay, and then you can do it right again. Keep holding it. Let go. It blows out. Dude's gonna grab it. Do it again. So I actually missed. That was me missing. Sometimes you'll miss. It's to be expected. And it's actually gone. In 2 times, it's already gone. So we'll hit this lepidolite again just to show you one more time. It's the same hole as last time, but we're just drilling a little bit deeper in. There it is. Sometimes it's at the very, very end, so you gotta wait for it. Okay, it looks like we've got a couple subsurface stuff. Regular surface, surface. And they have different icons. I forgot to mention that. You see how this one has like the surface and then it has the dot under the surface? That means it's a subsurface one. This one, this orange guy, you can see it in the center there. It has the surface and then it has a dot on top. Those can, of course, help you figure out which one's which. So those are the surface deposits and the subsurface deposit mining techniques. So now what I want to show you is a time when you need to use the seismic charge launcher and how to use it properly. The only time I've ever seen an asteroid that could be blown up is in an ice ring. I could be very wrong. We've only had this update for a full day. So I'm just landing in a random spot on the ice ring. And we're just gonna keep doing the same thing we did, which was pulse and try to find yellow asteroids. Now, seeing as that we're not in a hot spot, actually there's quite a bit. I didn't think we were gonna see this many, but seeing as that we're not in a hot spot, and seeing as we're in an ice zone, there's not as many lucrative resources in the ice. If you've done mining in the past, everyone always went for the metallic or the metal-rich, pristine locations. But we're gonna go ahead and scan a couple of these and see if we can find one that has what are called fissures on it. So what we're looking for is hopefully one of these that has fissures in it. So this thing's nice and bright, nice and angry looking. We're gonna give her a scan and see what happens. So we actually lucked out. Not only does this thing have a bunch of surface and subsurface deposits, what this thing has is, if you look in on the left panel here, it says core detected, and then it tells you what it detects inside the core. In this asteroid, it's detecting opal. Now you're gonna see the same surface deposit of bromellite. That's a different material, and then you're gonna see the same subsurface. This one's liquid oxygen, so the icons stay the same no matter what asteroid field you're in. However, this one has a little, like a crack, and they call it a fissure, right? So the whole idea is you're gonna put explosives into the cracks of this asteroid in a specific way to make it blow up and reveal what's inside. Now, this is my favorite part of the mining process, and this is what I like to do, is just basically focus on trying to find these fissure-filled asteroids. Now, I hope I'm wrong, but the only time that I've personally found these fissure asteroids are in ice rings. It may give us a reason to go to these ice rings finally. But what we're going to be looking at is at these... If you select each of these fissures, it's going to tell you information on the left. It says average strength. we're going to shoot one of these into space here. And on the right side, you're going to see 3 different bars, okay? And they fill up as you pull and hold the trigger. Okay? The reason that matters is because the longer you hold it, the stronger the blast is going to be. So if it says low strength, you have to let go when it's still in that very first bar. It's very quick. And then the average, you do it in the middle. And then, of course, heavy, you do it while it's in that very last one. Now, you do have a limited amount, but we have 68 left still. And once you start this process, you're given a time limit in the top right. Let me just do one, and let me see if I can show you. And I'll explain as I go. So this one says average strength. Okay, so our goal is to shoot it when it's still in the middle. You see that we have a countdown now. If you mess up and you shoot too little strength or too high of strength, you can go in, and I'm sorry about this, forgive me, you can disarm that specific asteroid. So here we go. We have a low strength one. Okay, and as you see, as you do it, this little icon system in the top right is going to give you some information. What this does is if you do it right, it's going to allow you to have better yield. As you see, it says detonation yield. So this one's a high strength, so we're going to go max strength on this one. Okay, we're not quite there yet. We probably need maybe one more medium or one more low strength one to get into the perfect scenario. Okay, now we still need one more probably. Okay, we got one to our right. Let's see if this is perfect. And we still have 56 seconds before we're word. Okay, this is a high strength that may take us over the edge of explosive power, but let's find out. Okay, see how it says optimum yield range? When that comes up, that means you're actually done putting explosives in. See, it might be a little bit too high because there's a little bit into the red, but you kind of want to be in that nice middle ground of that blue bar in the top right. So I'm actually going to scoot back just a little bit. That's not the right way. We're going to scoot back just a little bit, and we're going to actually detonate this manually. You can wait the 23 seconds, or you can go into your contacts, and within your contacts, this is where you can choose. You can choose a specific fissure, and you can disarm it, or you can detonate all of them now. So if you do one wrong, you can disarm it. Let's detonate now.
In 10 seconds.
So, with this explosion, if you looked in the top right when it happened, it said 14 like resources or something released. So in the air, I believe there's 14 pieces of this material of opal in the air. It also blasted our shields off and actually did some damage to our hull. So what we're gonna do is now you see that there are a bunch of opal surface deposits, and now we need to go in there and we need to take our we need to get our collector limpets going first. So we'll get 2 of these going because there's a little bit of material floating around we want these guys to grab. So they're going to grab it, open our cargo scoop, and then we're going to grab our abrasion blaster and go ahead and blast these. If you have a big ship, it's hard to get in there, and if you go inside of this, you'll actually notice that it's super cold, and the little windshield will start like freezing up. I don't know if I got that one or not. Okay, we were fine in opal. And something to realize is that opal, if you look in your inventory, you can look at kind of the galactic average of your stuff. Yeah, we grabbed some samarium, whatever, and it's worth about 8,000 units per unit. But if you look at opal, in just collecting a couple of those, we were able to refine opal. We actually now have 2, and it's 183,000 per unit. So right now, we have over 300,000 units of worth in our hull. Now this is where, you know, if pirates were in the area, you don't want to mess with that. But okay, so let's just abrasion blast the rest of these. There were a few more in here, but these wouldn't have been available to do unless we blew the asteroid apart. All right, so we have collected all that we can from this one asteroid. And we're going to leave the little mist that we've created from the explosion. And kind of give it a look. See what it looks like. See, it's all misty all around that. See, look, that's what it looks like in there. So, let's look at what we have so far. We got 14 opal out of that one asteroid. If you do some math here, opal is worth 183. We'll just say 183,000 times 14. Right there is 2.5 million space bucks. If you only went and if you were doing mining just for money, this may be the best way to do it. Go to an ice ring, land in a random spot, and then find something with fissures. You just kind of got to keep scanning and scanning and scanning until you find one with fissures, and then go back and sell it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, for sake of argument, I'm going to go ahead and get us back to Wilson Orbital, and we're going to sell it and see if we made some space bucks. Alright guys, my goal today was to try to take all of the slight complexities and strangeness of this new system, put it into easy to digest video that could help you at least get started, to allow you to learn more. There's potentially much more information about the scanning systems or the prospecting or trying to find fissures, or maybe there's fissures in other asteroid belts. I'm just not sure, but this is my basic entry-level tutorial, we'll call it, of the new mining system. If you have any questions about things, throw it in the comments. I'll do my best to answer. Maybe others will be able to see it and answer as well. If there's something that I missed or something that's very important, throw that in the comments too. We can all learn together. Alright, let's get ourselves landed.
Landing gear deployed.
Let's sell what we got. We didn't do it for very long. We were only out there for just a few minutes. Like the actual mining didn't take that long at all. Now, if we happened to not get lucky and couldn't find one of those with fissures, it would have taken a lot longer. However, but last night as I was testing, I was able to find 3 in like a 30-minute period. I was able to blow it up and kind of gather them very quickly. I was very focused and very organized with my efforts, and I was able to, in 30 minutes, get 3 of them, and I was able to get 40 opal and sell it for over 7 million space bucks. Okay, so we just repaired our stuff. Let's actually go to the commodities market and see if we can sell what we got. We also got a samarium as well. There we go. There's our samarium. So that's 15,000, and that was only off of what, 1 or 2 surface deposits or subsurface deposits. So if we spent some time and did that, we'd make some money. And here we go. 2.5 million. So there is a way to make some money with the new mining system, and it's much more intuitive, it's much more engaging, and allows for more entertaining gameplay. And it's one more thing that I've always wanted to spend some time doing, but mining back in the day was just boring. So I hope that this was informative. The purpose of this was to teach what I know, because I did a 3-hour live stream over on Twitch, and it took me about an hour to really figure out how this works. So I compiled all of my basic knowledge from one day's work and put it in this video. I hope it was very informative. If you have any questions or you've learned more things, of course, let me know. And if you want to make fun of me and my terrible flying, have at it. But I'd like to invite you guys over to our live show we have over on twitch.tv/Skabbard. It's a Skabbard live show. We do a lot of nonsense there. I like to try to keep a positive attitude and just have a good time. I don't ever min-max or get too serious about too many things. We play Escape from Tarkov, a very serious, calculated game, and I just try to have a lot of fun with it. And then we kind of play some random stuff. We did some Farming Simulator 2019 recently. We're, of course, doing some Elite Dangerous as the new updates come out. And we're playing just a bunch of random stuff. If you want to come hang out with us, links down in the description. If you liked the video, throw a like down. It helps a lot. And if you didn't like the video, throw a dislike. It happens. But no matter what, guys, till next time, we'll see you later.